I know that you guys are hearing about stuff going on with this war. Things are coming out relatively quickly. The only thing I'm really paying attention to is the fact that we decimate Iran's Navy and Air Force. That's proven. It's everywhere. Even our enemies are filming that feat being accomplished. But as far as Putin giving our enemies intelligence on our military assets' whereabouts to be able to neutralize us is definitely a possibility. Wartime is all about, you've heard me say this before, malinformation, misinformation, and disinformation. Disinformation and misinformation, obviously all three of these things are different in and of themselves. Malinformation is intended to be malicious. Disinformation is intended just to provide purposeful confusion, and misinformation is unintentional inaccurate information. These leaders and, especially like CIA, Mossad, what used to be the KGB, I forget what you call them now, but they're really good at disguising each one of those things as the other, right? Or just creating confusion altogether until it's, been proven exactly what the facts are. For example, is Putin really giving our enemies intelligence? Don't jump the gun with this stuff, man. It's important to be logical and look at things as they are. If people online are telling you, I know for a fact this is what's going on, bro, facts are facts. You can't, I don't go based on assumptions anymore. Even though a lot of conspiracies turned out to be true, I try not to go, too headstrong into it. I try to remain as logical as I can about these things in these times and just try to focus on the things that are important for now. For example, making my family feel safe. The other thing is pick up your guns and get out there and go shooting and go target practicing, practice your skills, get into martial arts, all that stuff. We live in the United States of America. We are pretty damn safe. And we have the strongest military in the entire world, 10 times over. The only thing that could wipe us out really is nuclear war and ourselves, right? By allowing malmis and disinformation to infect us, right? Because we have a lot of opposing views and a lot of people that are headstrong on being right, and a lot of men that are unwilling to take accountability these days to admit that they're wrong. I also know that neither China nor Russia is happy about, especially China, is not happy about the United States of America being able to maintain economic superiority by completely decimating, collapsing any chance of their original plans to topple the American dollar. And I'd like to hear your guys' comments on that. I've been watching this whole BRICS thing over the last, 3 or 4 years unfold. And, it's not going to happen. They're not happy about it. I mean, like I said in my last video, we are the only country who could be in as much debt to a country, our debt, to China, 46 trillion at this point, whatever it is, and not be attacked, on our own soil. So what do they try to do? The Chinese, they try to cut us off economically. They understand if you have no money, you have no leverage. The less money you have, the less you can allocate those funds into beefing up your war system, right? So that's their way of hitting us, because if they show any physical force, China has no real military experience. They are pretty smart people, they're not stupid, but they're also not powerful in, the grand scheme of things when it comes to, how our strength, our force, our might. It just doesn't measure up. And I'm proud of that. It's important to look at the facts. Don't, especially if you're a United States citizen, don't give in to this disinformation crap that's going on. That's what they want, a coup d'etat. They want our people to turn against one another, and it's important to understand where we come from. And no, don't get into that all stolen land. Everywhere is stolen land. You know what? Tribes were taking each other over for centuries before the United States of America was ever established. We're a young country, we're a powerful country, but we're a country that works. We're a country with a infrastructure that everyone else wants to replicate, wants to copy. Yeah. So as long as we maintain our economic and militaristic superiority, I think that's the right way to say that. As long as we maintain that, we're going to be fine, right? My children are what matter most to me. My people living on American soil are what's most important to me. I'm going to be getting out here and traveling soon. Check out my second channel, Mr. By the Continent, for that. So we're going to get out there and really put eyes on the land and ears to the people as far as languages, right? If you're an American, you have the freedom to choose what language you want to speak, right? First and foremost, English, but learn some German, learn some Russian, learn some Chinese, especially people that we're in conflict with the most, learn those languages, right? So anyway, I've got a little bit of Arabic going on, been learning some Russian, and I do want to learn some Chinese, some Mandarin. So always be moving up and learning in life. Worry about that kind of stuff right now, not all this. You know what I'm saying? War is not our sector. You know what I'm saying? You're just hearing shit. If people, if these countries want us taken out, it's going to be very hard for them to do. If we want a certain group or militia taken out, it's gonna happen. And we've seen it proven, back to back, Venezuela, now Iran. So, who's on top? Who's really the show of force here? And let that be your comfort. We will win. Our people will prosper. We've already locked in, the Venezuelan oil reserves. Now we've basically cut the head of the dragon, right? China. Them trying to make these, this deal with Iran to cut the United States American dollar out. Not gonna happen, baby. Anyways, you guys, truck drivers, citizens, and patriots, stay strong. Look out for more of my trucking content. Check out this video I did on upgrading my house. Focus on things like that. Good, wholehearted American way of life, man, way of living. They hate us. They always have, right? They're jealous of what we have here in the United States of America. And be proud of it, Embrace our culture here, whether you're an American Mexican, an American Italian, an American Muslim, an American whatever, bro. We're all Americans. So let's stay on the same page. Let's not hate one another. Let's understand that in the end, a lot of us, whether on the left or right, just want what's best, what we think is best based on what we know and how limited our, scope of understanding is in this. We all want the same thing. We want peace. We want understanding. That's what we want. Unfortunately, sometimes peace needs to be established through war, through force. And there's people that are built to do that and think like that, and people that are not built to be like that or think like that. So if you're not the one, just kind of stay out of it, take a back seat to it, vote. It's your God-given right in this country to vote. But, just don't get carried away with jumping to conclusions, and it's not healthy, man. Focus on your house, focus on your wife, your kids, your friends, whatever it is that keeps you up, keeps you going every day. Stay informed, but also keep it at arm's distance so you can maintain a healthy mindset. And with that, Mr. By the Mile, see you on the next one, guys.